I think it's fairly clear that heat networks will be rolled through dense urban environments. They're already very present in London, Bristol, Leeds, and a number of other cities, Southampton. But so it's clear they're going to be rolled through the dense urban environments. The zoning consultation very firmly suggests that there will be heat zones. I suspect covering most of those dense urban environments where you will be obliged to be on a heat network or show you're decarbonising another way, be it a heat pump or otherwise. And that will take us to a place a bit like Scandinavia. I mean, very different model, but where, by way of example, 95% of Copenhagen is heated by a heat network, coming from a series of different energy sources around the town, but feeding into street by street by street. Now, I think to start off, it'll be the local authority buildings, the big heat users, then it'll move down to the industrial, commercial, and then finally move on to street by street. I have to say this is already happening quite well in Gateshead. Gateshead's really ahead of its time and doing a fantastic job, and they're rolling heat networks through through less dense urban environments already, and it's been a big success. So I think we'll see most towns, if not all towns, taking heat from a waste energy source, from a heat pump, from whatever source that is deemed appropriate, and running heat pipes the entire way through the town, and then people connecting onto that as time goes on. Yes, I think it's been fairly clear for a long time that a large amount of the UK carbon output was coming from heating, and there are only, at the moment, a limited number of ways you can decarbonize that heating. And so, to my mind, transporting low carbon energy around a network from any number of different sources, be that heat pumps, hydrogen I wasn't thinking about that then, I have to say, through to waste energy sources, has always been a fairly obvious thing to be doing. It's not been a big thing in the UK in the past, but I think probably because of the low cost of fossil fuel. But it was reasonably clear then that this was going to be a challenge. This needs to be sorted. Already the GLA were pushing this through their planning systems in London, and there was noise coming from a series of other places. So I think it was probably fair to say that it has been obvious for a period of time that we should be doing this, and it's really exciting now that the government just recently, in the heat and building strategy, and then the zoning consultation is showing a real drive towards getting to the levels that we need to be going. So our customers are people who are on our utility, people who are being provided heat by us, and our clients are people who commission us to do work and to take on a project. So starting with customers, I think we put that at the heart of what we do. They are keeping heat on is, to my mind, more important than keeping electricity on or keeping anything else on. Is absolutely critical to people's lives, to getting people going. And so we have to be really, really careful to make sure we're on top of providing the heat properly. Are we ahead of the technology curve to make sure we can do it appropriately, quickly, cheaply as possible? And so we have to focus very hard on that. But the customer's needs are obvious. When it comes to the clients, we have a very varied, broad brush of clients, from local authorities through to developers, and they all want something very different. We start from a sort of base point of we want to have a decarbonised energy network, and particularly in our case, decarbonised heat networks, and we therefore work down from there. So if our clients want high carbon, very rarely happens that they're coming to us, then we say no. And then we move down towards what do they in fact want? Is it planning which is pushing this? Is it desire to decarbonize that's pushing this? Is it cost that's pushing this? And from there, we can ascertain what the big drivers are and how to move our solution around what they want. It's, as you say, quite complicated to find the niche there. The government targets really focus on electricity, heat, and then transport. There is other stuff around it, but those are the big core drivers. And we are absolutely front and center in the heat decarbonisation plans. Now, the government strategy within heat is to look at heat networks, which is what we principally focus on, heat pumps, and hydrogen. And to my mind, the heat network bit, which we focus on, can take heat pumps very happily, can take hydrogen very happily, and so is the best form of distributing low carbon energy around a dense urban environment. So, we are very involved with government in helping to look at policy. We're very involved at trying to bring in investment to the sector. We're very involved in all levels of that heat network space and trying to decarbonize what is going on in that sort of 30% heat space that needs to be sorted.